So today I have the absolute pleasure of introducing someone who's been called one of the top business thought leaders on the planet. John Spence is a no fluff, tell it like it is kind of guy who spent decades helping leaders and organizations make the complex awesomely simple. And he likes the way I've done that because that's actually his tagline. Pretty clever how I weaved that in. So
Genius, pure genius.
by 26, John was CEO of the Rockefeller Foundation, running projects in 20 countries. 2 years later, Inc. magazine called him one of America's top young business leaders. And since then, the awards have kept rolling in. Thinkers 50, AMA, Forbes, and more. But here's what I really like about John. He reads over 100 business books a year and somehow still finds time to be one of the most genuine, humble, and fun people you'll meet. So if you're ready to take some notes, laugh a little maybe, and leave with ideas you'll actually use tomorrow, then please join me in welcoming the man, the myth, the master of simplicity, John Spence.
Thank you. Silly, great introduction, I guess. Before I begin, Quentin, wave your hand, buddy, over there. Shout out to one of my friends I used to work with years and years ago and didn't know he was going to be here. It caused us to reconnect. So, all right, I hope you're taking notes. Got a lot of stuff to cover. I'm going to try to share with you a couple of critical ideas about how, as an individual, as a coach, thought leader, whatever you want to call it, you can stand out in a crowded market. And this works. This is actually how I teach companies to do this. But it's the same for an individual because for all of us, like me, we are me Inc. It's John Spence Inc. I am the product. So here's the way I look at strategy, creating strategies for companies or individuals. And I'm big on frameworks and formulas. So here's my formula for creating an effective strategy. It's value differentiation multiplied by disciplined execution. Valued differentiation multiplied by disciplined execution. And there are four elements that go into doing that. So think of you, Inc. So I'm going to speak as if it was you. What do you do that is unique and compelling? Step one, what do you do that is unique and compelling? Number two, that your target client values very highly. Target client values they're willing to pay any reasonable price. So let's look at those two. It's actually number two that informs number one. You could do, unique things. I could, you could learn how to make balloon animals and hand those out in your sessions or whatever, but that's not valuable. So that second part, it has to be something that your client looks at and goes, I'm happy to pay whatever you want to charge. So unique and compelling that your target customer values very highly. Here's the tough one. Ready for this one? That is difficult if not impossible to copy. Difficult if not impossible to copy. And then finally, that you can consistently execute with excellence. Every single time you're going to deliver it at a world-class level. So I know everybody's taking notes. I'll go over those again. It's unique and compelling. You are unique and compelling. Your target client values what you do tremendously. It's extremely hard or impossible to copy what you deliver, and you can actually deliver what you promise with excellence. Those four things, if you personally can create a personal strategy that meets all four of those criteria, you are in a position to crush the competition because almost no one can do that. Now I'm going to tell you some things that fit under those ideas. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have everything written down. There are 5 key things that most people, most organizations can do to meet those criteria. The first one is people. And for us, I've got 3 people that work for me or with me. But you have to surround yourself with super talented people. And if you are the product, you have to be really, really good at what you do. You've got to be top talent, exceptional, constantly learning, growing. It's not a profession, it's a craft. And then if you don't have people that work for you / with you, then that's your mastermind group. That's your colleagues. I have 6 or 7 people worldwide that I check in with about every 45 days. and we share ideas. We help each other out. We assign books. We assign videos to watch. So I might be an independent, but I've got a team of people around me pushing me, helping me, assist me. So people is the first one. Culture is the next one. And again, if you don't have a bunch of people working for you and it's only you, culture still applies because culture is the accepted behaviors, attitudes, the way you work. Extra people would be with the way you work together, but you as an individual have a culture for your organization. And it's the way you treat your clients, the behaviors, what you accept, what you refuse to accept, what vendors you work with, things like that. So people, culture. The next one is really to me the heart of it for all of us is client relationships. Here's what I always say, whoever owns the voice of the customer owns the marketplace. Who's ever the closest to the customer knows their needs, their wants, their wishes, their fears. If you have a really strong relationship with your clients, it is extremely hard, if not impossible, to copy that. Once you've got that relationship, the switching cost of going to move to someone else after they've invested all this time with you, you know them, you know their backstory, you know their issues, you know their challenges. It's really hard unless you mess things up pretty badly for them to walk away and say, I'm just going to go find a new coach. Or I'm going to find someone else to work with. So the next one is brand. And we're going to go into this in detail in a minute. But what do you stand for? John was nice enough when he introduced me. My brand is making the very complex awesomely simple. I built my career up to finding complex, difficult, challenging business ideas and making them simple to understand and apply. So that's a lot of people. Well, John introduced me that way because that's the way most people know me. So I have a very clear brand. I actually, and this is something I have a brand platform we created. It's about 20 pages long, 22 pages long. And I'm the product. So we talk about me as product. What do I stand for? What are my owned words? Complexity to clarity, on and on and on. What are our colors for our logos? Who are our major competitors? Tier one, tier two, tier three. How do we speak? What's the voice of our brand? Just to make sure that, as we're packaging, each of us package ourselves as a product, we want to have a clear brand that represents our product. And then the last one is data. And most organizations and most people are sitting on a gold mine of data and information that they don't use effectively. And I'm going to jump off here for a second and say, I don't know about all of you, but artificial intelligence has dramatically changed the way I do my job. Research that used to take me 2 or 3 days to pull together on a client or their industry or their competitors or their strategy, I can now do in 3 or 4 hours, and it's better. And let me make a quick note here. I don't know, each of us has a different way we call ourselves a coach or a consultant. We call me sort of a business acumen coach. I spend most of my time teaching my clients how to be better at a business skill, strategy, building high performance executive teams, culture, things like that. So my brand is one of not a professor, let's say, but I've worked in a bunch of companies. I take that experience and I try to help my clients get better at what they do. So I can collect a massive amount of data about someone's industry, their business, their competitors, their background, that will allow me to understand them at a much deeper level. I don't know about you guys, I record all of my client calls. All of my coaching is Zoom. I don't do any in-person coaching right now. I record all those and I use ChatGPT to give me an overview the minute I get off, a clear overview of the entire conversation, a recap. Then I shoot that to the client and say, is this what we covered? Did I miss anything? Here's your action items. Here's my action items. And I also use all of that the next time I'm going to have a call with them, and I meet with most of my clients every 2 weeks, I can review that and I don't have to take a single note during the meeting. I can focus totally. That kind of data and the ability to use artificial intelligence for those sort of things revolutionized it. So there's the main thing that I want to talk to you. I had 10 minutes left. This is awesome. We've got the value differentiation times discipline execution, the 5 things that meet those criteria. Now I'm going to go down and teach the 2 things here. John was nice enough to introduce me as a global thought leader, which is nice. It's nice. But I think there's a difference between being called that and actually being considered that. And I created a list that I call the 13 steps to becoming a thought leader. And these are the same things you need to do to be great as a coach or consultant in any level. But if you want to try to win an award or whatever, and to me, awards are nice, but they're a reflection of the quality of the work we do. I've never in my life said I want to go win Thinkers 50 or, one of those other awards. But I have said I want to do work that's so good that we win some of those awards by default. So that's how I approach it. So here's 13 things that will help you stand out. Remember, be unique, difficult if not impossible to copy. This is how you do that. Number 1 is you have unique education. Do you have some sort of background? Did you go to certifications? Did you study something interesting at university, or did you study under a master? I think probably some of you are probably Marshall Goldsmith 100s maybe, but did you have a mentor or a coach that gave you education that no one else has? And again, certifications are part of that. So education. Number 2, author. Have you written a book or multiple books? Back when I wrote my first one, you had to actually go to a publisher and all that sort of stuff. Nowadays, it's a lot easier. You can self-publish and things like that. But do you have a book or 2 or 3 to your name? So education, author. Number 3, experience. Do you have a distinctive or unique career experience? Did you do something in your past, like me being a CEO of an international company at 26? That's sort of unique. Maybe some of you have had unique jobs in consulting firms or at universities or really impressive businesses that allow you to bring something that stands out against other people. Number 4 is a contributor. Do you contribute, publish articles, white papers, things like that to respected magazines? For me, Inc., Fortune, Forbes, Harvard Business Review, MIT Sloan, those are the magazines, the articles and stuff that my clients read. So I've got to try to be a contributor in those. So are you a contributor to a highly respected magazine or blog or whatever that your customers, your target clients look up to, they use? Number 5, do you do interviews regularly? Are you on podcasts like this? Are you on media? Are you being interviewed for magazines or books? So are you someone that's a go-to expert that people want to talk to in the media and interview you? Number 6 is awards. Have you won, received public recognition from what I want to say reliable, respected sources for your work? And can people look up and say, wow, they're Forbes counselor, they're, Thinkers 50, whatever it might be. This is what I want to talk about for a second. I have 5 minutes left. This is awesome. Proprietary research or proprietary frameworks. This is one of the things that is impossible to copy at some level, but it's not as hard as it sounds. And I'll give you an example of how I do this and how I did it. When I teach let's say a leadership workshop, and I've got the whole leadership team of a company, or usually it's at a there's 5, I've got 200 people in the room from the same company or from different companies. Here's how I teach a workshop on that. First 45 minutes is me talking about what I've learned about leadership, my research, the things I've done, blah, 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 blah. Then I assign them a short reading, 10 minutes, where they read some of the top books, excerpts from some of the top leadership books in the world. Then I ask them to do what I call a personal leadership philosophy. Based on what they learned from me, what they read, their experience, what kind of a leader do they want to be? What are the characteristics, attitudes, attributes that would make them feel like they're being the kind of leader they truly want to be? Then I put them in group discussions at their tables where everybody shares their philosophy, and I challenge the table to come up with the top 5 attributes of an ideal leader. What do all of you at your table believe are the five most important things a leader must do? Then I have each table report out. Here's where it gets in. I write down all that stuff. I summarize it. I read it back to them. I get it. I have over 600 of those from classes I've taught. I took those 600, put them together, and created a leadership framework. No one else on the face of the earth can say that they've been in my class and heard that stuff, and that my framework might be similar to other people's, but no one can copy it exactly. You don't have to have 600 of them. If you talk to a few dozen people, you can build a framework, and that's all about patterns. I'm sure if you looked across your clients, pattern recognition is one of the key ideas behind expertise. What's the pattern you see? That's literally proprietary research. You can create a framework or a model or a formula, whatever you want to call it. Um, so proprietary research, big one. Relationships. Are you connected to other respected thought leaders? Are you in groups, mastermind groups or groups like this where there are top thought leaders you interact with or experts? I don't want to say experts, but I'm talking about thought leaders, but high level experts. Next one is client list. Have you worked for really impressive companies or respected people that people would recognize immediately? And again, early in my career, and I didn't get jobs at Fortune 100 companies, the full, from headquarters, but I would go to little local ones, to the local Merrill Lynch, investment company, or the local big insurance company for State Farm, or the local office for IBM, and do a little lunch and learn, or some training there. And two things happened. I got to list them as a client because I actually was working with them, and if I did a great job, they would push me up the line, higher and higher and higher in the organization, or more people in the organization. So you might not have an impressive client list, but you don't have to go out and get hired by the top business in your country. You can work your way up to get those on your client list. Number 12, we're almost there, is exposure. Do you give speeches or train large audiences? And here's what I've learned about that. Early in my career, I pretty much would do anything for free to get out in front of a group and practice and get some stuff now. Now I get paid to give these, but if oftentimes I will reduce my fee or look at it if the room is full of potential clients. This is the way I've built my business now. If I go give a speech to 200 CEOs, every single person in that room is a potential client. So I'm constantly looking for chances, do breakouts at major conferences, give a speech, whatever I can do if the audience is all people that could potentially hire me, or 80% of them. That generates almost all my new business. And the last one is platform. Do you have a large social media following? I think I have about 30,000, 40,000 contacts on LinkedIn, another 30,000 followers. Altogether, I have about 250,000 followers. Again, that does help generate. I think that's where I win the awards and stuff. Is it generates word of mouth. It elevates my exposure and I'm trying to think impact, because I am very, very concerned about helping people. That's my mission in life, is to help businesses and people be more successful. But when you go to write books or you go to get hired for a speech or something else like that, your social media platform will be one of the key things they look at. So I'm trying to be respectful of John and make sure I finish on time. And then the last thing I'll say is one of the ways I figured out what my brand was is I went to all my top clients and asked them this one question, and we'll end on this. Why specifically do you do business with me? What are the top three or four reasons? I'll say that again. Why specifically do you do business with me? What are the top three or four reasons? If you go out and ask a whole bunch of your ideal clients, the ones you want to have lots more just like them, the best ones, if you ask a whole bunch of them, a pattern will emerge. They'll all say the same few things. Congratulations, you now understand your brand. You have your marketing. You have the air where you should build your platform on. Because I figure if a whole bunch of people are all hiring me for the same three or four reasons, then likely other people will hire me for the same reasons. And it's been consistent through my entire career. When it was 4 P's. Passion, wait a minute, I can't even remember. Passion, research, real life, passion, ROI. As John said, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who studies more than I do. Been reading 100 books, business books a year since 1989. Real life, I've been the CEO of 4 companies and I've worked shoulder to shoulder in real companies. Passion, pretty obvious to tell that I love what I do. I've dedicated my life to it. And because of those 3 things, my clients always get a high ROI. So everything that I do is built on research, real life passion, drives ROI. And the only reason I know that is all my clients told me that's why they hire me. So I'm 1 minute over. I apologize, John.
No, not John. That was fantastic, and I saw lots of people making notes. Gold, gold info. So thank you so much.
CoEfficient, helping people help people.